If you're trying to grow your real estate brokerage or even team, you want to bring on some A players, chances are you've thought about or have used a real estate recruiter or a real estate recruiting company. I mean, on paper, it sounds like a great idea, right? Just having people book appointments on your calendar with agents that are looking to partner with you. I mean, it would be a dream come true, right? Because at the end of the day, that's one of the most highest leverage activities you can do as a real estate brokerage owner, a team leader. I know that at downline brokerages, you're not really allowed to use these people. So just a heads up, it goes against your ICA. But in the end of the day, it seems like a great idea on paper, but let me tell you, it is not. And I'll explain to you in this video exactly where it goes wrong and all the faults of that system. You see, a lot of real estate recruiters are costing you more money and costing you the credibility that you really need. And in the end of the day, it's a net negative. Stick with me the next few minutes. I'll explain to you why the traditional recruiting model is dead, it is broken, and what you need to do to really navigate in 2025 and beyond. Folks, my name is Prab Mega and I am the founder of Agent Attraction IO, and on this YouTube channel we like to share all of the latest greatest strategies on agent attraction and stuff that you can use to solve the agent attraction problem once and for all. And when I say once and for all, what I really mean is statistically and economically you will be in a place of prosperity so you can outspend your competition once and for all. So here's how the traditional recruiting model works, right? So a lot of real estate brokerages and team leaders especially, they'll either hire an in-house recruiter or they'll hire a company to go ahead and do a lot of cold outreach attempts towards agents to get them to join their brokerage, right? This can be cold calls, cold emails, even cold texts, which is a very, very risky area to be in. It's not a really a good practice, because really what you're doing is you're pitching your brokerage and you're just pitching all day. You're not giving any value, which is why agents don't show up in the first place. They don't value, they don't respect you. They come in, they leave again. It's a really very high churn machine, and you sound like every other brokerage out there. A lot of people will go ahead and pitch people with free leads. They'll give, oh, we have great culture, we have a better office, we have this splits. And here's the thing, right? Like, so when everyone's making those claims in the market, people are going to try to beat each other with the claims, right? And basically what's going to happen is there's going to be a race to the bottom. When the race to the bottom, profit margins diminish, and ultimately, the health of a business is dictated on the gross profit margin available, right? So really what's happening now is a lot of companies out there that are offering recruiting services. They, hey, we'll pack your calendar with agents, we're the #1 recruiting firm, blah blah blah. What they're just doing is they're just really mass automating outbound attempts towards real estate agents, and those same real estate agents are probably being blasted the same outbound attempts with the same company towards 5 other brokerages. It's like literally a pitch fest, and at that point you and also other people in the same strategy as you are just commodities. One of the main components of the strategy is mass DMs or mass cold call, and what you're just doing is you're hoping someone bites. And the big theme is you are going toward agents, they're not coming to you, and that is not attraction. That's agent chasing. That is not agent attraction. So on paper, of course, it sounds okay, play the numbers game, but really it's just a recipe for disaster. So check out this stat, right? 144,000 agents switched brokerages in the past year alone. That number is probably going to go up this year again. The real estate agent industry is extremely competitive, and again, like 144,000 agents have switched brokerages. A lot of them are also considering switching brokerages. Maybe there's some logistical reasons why they can't switch brokerages at the same time frame, but like they're joining brokerages as well that are usually just making the same pitches out there, right? They're making the higher splits, free leads pitch, they're making the better tools and training, and even like the word better is very hard to quantify, right? And when everyone's saying the same thing, it all starts to sound very commoditized. It's not new, it's not unique. And a fundamental rule in marketing and acquisition is you have to be new. You cannot be just improving upon what's working. You have to be new, fundamentally different. And here's the thing, like that's what your sales message is. I had another video on this channel with a unique mechanism, right? That's what you want to be marketing. But a lot of times, a lot of the brokerages, it's not your fault that you haven't been taught how to really market your company. And that's totally fine as well, right? That's why we give a lot of value on this YouTube channel. But look, if you're hiring a lot of recruiting companies, they're not really blasting your USPs or the way, they're not really marketing. They're just doing a lot of outbound. And I've seen, outbound to be significantly more difficult than inbound, just simply because you are going towards people. Hopefully it's like, hey, pick me, right? And that's not the right place to be in, right? In fact, you actually want to reverse the process where agents come to you and they actually book themselves on your calendar and they are the ones saying, pick me. That was the first reason why recruiters fail. The second reason why recruiters fail is that the incentives are misaligned. So when it comes to incentives, right, most recruiters charge an ongoing monthly fee, and that is about it, right? So, they're incentivized on bringing in a number of agents and not really focused on the quality of agents, which is why show up rates are just crazy low. They're only gonna get lower and lower. Even if you do convert an agent, they only come with you and they're like not the right type of agents, and they're not gonna really make you money. They don't really produce, they churn out, they're a bad culture fit, right? So these are all the things that you're actually, this issue is gonna compound. And I think if most people understand how big of an issue this is, you bring in one wrong person, it's a poisonous apple, and everyone else starts to get that poison spreads very, very quickly, right? So again, I would also encourage you to take a look at, like, you're bringing these agents, and obviously they're coming into your office. Let's just say they leave, then they're going to talk bad and word of mouth spreads, and then in the market you're also going to get a bad reputation. That's why I mentioned in the earlier stages of this video that your credibility is also being impacted here. So a lot of recruiters are not incentivized. They don't have equity in the brokerage. They're not really incentivized even on the retention of these agents. That's why they don't care about the quality of them. So in the end, you're left wasting time and money on really resources that don't really convert, and you're still having a churn machine. Now just say you have a brokerage right now, right? Maybe you want to sell it for maybe an 8-figure exit or multiple 7-figure exit. One of the biggest things they're going to look at is your agent churn, right? If your agent churn is very low, simply because your marketing and acquisition of agents is very, very low quality, you're just playing a chasing game, it's going to compound at the back end of the business as well, right? You're going to get the agents that are going to churn, not going to produce. So again, like, I just want to paint the picture as to, it's not just a problem here, it's an extremely big problem, right? Where it's impacting many, many different areas of your company. The third reason is a lot of recruiters are actually outsiders in the real estate industry. Most recruiters don't really understand the business at the level that you do, right? And many of these recruiting companies, they're really what they are is just there's outsourced outbound agencies, right? They're doing cold email, cold calling, cold LinkedIn. That's all they're doing, right? And what I've seen is a lot of the people in these companies that actually own them, they will typically go ahead and they'll use overseas talent to do a bunch of outbound. They even actually serve other niches as well. They'll serve like insurance, they'll serve mortgage, they'll serve real estate, they'll serve other industries like healthcare as well. And that's what I've seen as a common theme across all of these kind of companies. A lot of these companies as well, they don't know the challenges these agents are facing. They can't speak the language of top producers. The one thing as well is, like, a lot of them aren't really marketers by trade. They just have a lot of outbound things going out, but they're not really marketers. They don't understand copywriting. They don't understand sales message formulation to position you and your brokerage or your company as unique and superior and new and different. And agents, they want to hear from someone that's actually been in their shoes, right? And someone that actually understands them, someone that understands their problems, where they want to get to, so they can actually close deals and grow a business. You see, a brokerage is a vehicle agents use to get to an end state. This end state is usually financial freedom, more appointments, more closings, more GCI. And a lot of agents now are so sophisticated, they've actually been hammered by so many marketing claims that they're actually at a point where they understand that it's just a recruiter trying to call me. This is like a middleman, right? And that's also not good, a recruiter just cannot really fill that gap. The fourth thing is that there really is no trust or connection with recruiters. At the end of the day, agents don't join brokerages, they join people. That's really where culture comes in, right? It is actually a monopoly that you can have, and they can really just take over, right? If you have a good culture at your company, which starts at your recruiting process, you can actually take over everything, because in the end of the day, a brokerage is a compounding asset. It has a network effect if done properly, where the right people are staying and producing, and it's compounding year over year. That's what makes a brokerage valuable, right? And a lot of times, recruiters just have a numbers mindset. They're not really focused on the quality of agents. They're just trying to just get people in, because the only way they make money is like, hey, I'll just bring you a couple of agents every single year, and hopefully they stay, and you might get some agents, right? That doesn't mean it's working. That just means it's like barely bringing in 1 or 2 agents that are probably gonna churn out anyways. Many times I've actually seen that some of my friends that run brokerages, they use these companies and the show up rates are already super, super low, but I think the bigger issue is that they just churn out anyways, right? So there's not really a trust there. The connection is broken. This is why it's also so hard as well to convince agents to take action. You can do everything in the world out there, but look, if the people coming in, they don't value or respect you, they don't have that connection at personal level, you can lead a horse to water, but it's not going to really drink, right? So that's what the problem that a lot of people are facing, because one problem is even getting people at the door. Second thing is getting them to produce. So a lot of this, right, if you can solve one problem that tackles all the other dominoes, it's going to be the quality of agents. And that's going to be with you actually having a recruiting system in-house, an attraction system in-house, because if you use outsourced companies, that trust is not going to be there, right? That the word I like to say is status delta, right? You don't have that status there, right? And agents aren't going to respect you at your broker. The next thing as well is like, to an extent, this actually is illegal, right? Like a lot of times if you talk about TCPA, Telephone Consumer Protection Act, a lot of times you just cannot do cold outreach and cold calling, right? It's actually going against everything. And I think right now as well in 2025, there actually has been a big movement towards a lot of education on this. You can't just do a bunch of cold outreach. People have to actually opt in, right? So it's going to be something you have to do, right? Moving forward, because, again, like if you do this wrong and you have a bunch of outreach attempts, what's going to end up happening is you actually get fined hundreds or even sometimes $1,000+ per each and every single attempt that goes wrong, right? So I've seen companies go bankrupt from that, because I remember this one guy, it was in a Reddit thread, right? And this brokerage owner, basically he had like 10,000 people he put into an automated text campaign. He blasted them all and none of them, had opted in, and he got hit with like $100,000+ lawsuit and he dissolved his company. So like, again, like this is stuff that really happens. You have to be very, very aware of it, right? And again, like especially for people that are trying to recruit their downline or like their revenue share network, this is illegal, right? You cannot do this at all. It goes against your ICA. You cannot hire companies. I think maybe at EXP you might be able to, but in the end of the day, it still is very, very muddy waters, right? I think that most of the time, especially at EXP, what people can do is they can cold call yourself, which everyone else is doing anyways. But if you hire other people, that's also against your ICA, right? I think a real broker, you're not even allowed to do that at all. So there has to be a workaround, right? Like there has to be a better way. That's exactly what I'm going to talk about right now. So of course, if recruiters don't really work, what is the alternative? It's going to be agent attraction, right? You don't want to be chasing, you want to be attracting people. So instead of paying people to chase agents down, why don't you instead invest far less money in owning a system that actually gets agents coming to you instead? So here's how it really works. There's 3 steps. So the first thing is going to create the value for agents, right? This is where you create something where agents really want. And I recommend creating some sort of a solution, which can be a digital product, it can be accelerator, it could be a coaching program, whatever it is. That's the first step. Now, a lot of people get scared about this, but many times you already have these resources in-house. Now, of course, shameless plug here, our company, Agent Attraction.io, we help you build your own in-house training program, all online, around lead generation and marketing. We give you the white label assets, so you don't have to learn anything, and you can actually offer that as an exchange for people to partner and work with you. But in the end of the day, you want to develop a digital product or training program that teaches agents something very, very important that they truly want, right? It doesn't mean that they always need it. I would say and argue that agents really want, the agents really want lead gen marketing and appointment setting, but what they really need is, they need the accountability, they need the mentorship, and the support. That's really what they need, right? But what do you want to market to them, and you want to demonstrate the value is like something that they think they want, which is lead gen, more appointments and all that. That's really where you can have a gap that you can fulfill upon. Agents will come to you. That's, you want to create something that agents want, so they come to you, right? That's very, very important. That's the first step of the process. The second thing is you will now run targeted ads online, right? So you can still do outbound, but I recommend online because this is very scalable. It actually is also attracting as well, where people come to you. And with online, you could use stuff like retargeting ads, and you can be all over their news feeds. You probably have seen my face or my company's ads all over your news feed. Just a testament to show that it works. And that allows you to have like a halo effect. It allows you to be everywhere, allows you to be in their subconscious mind. And you can run these campaigns on Facebook or Instagram. Now, here's the thing, right? Like I recommend at this point, you have all your metrics tracked. So like, okay, how much is it costing me per day on advertising? How many leads am I getting? How many appointments am I getting from that? How many appointments are showing up? You can actually then go ahead and project, okay, it cost me XYZ dollars to get an appointment to show up. So you can start to do some math, right? And you can actually start to like have some clarity on how big your brokerage can get. So my friends that have some of the biggest brokerages out there, what they really do is they have all their numbers tracked. They know their cost per appointment scheduled, cost per appointment for the agent to show up, cost per agent onboarded. They have everything really dialed in. And if you aren't even doing that right now, you're gonna get left behind, right? So you can actually see, and what they do now is like the third step is like, obviously when they get calls, they want to see how can we make the economics work so we don't lose money on our marketing, right? And that's where, I recommended them like, hey, look, guys, you can either sell an online course, digital product to offset the cost of marketing, or you can just bleed money if you like, or you can go ahead and charge an onboarding fee at the very least of like $500. So even if you spend like 3 or 4K a month on marketing for agents, for Facebook ads, even if you charge, like $500, you get 6 people on board, you actually offset or you barely lose money. And that's a really good place to be. And in fact, I don't even like losing money at all. I always like to make money on the acquisition of agents. In fact, my own company spends over $100,000 a month on Facebook and Instagram ads. Now, the reason why we're able to actually consistently keep marketing, not lose money, is because we are always charging money for an online course digital product. And I'm not really a brokerage, but just to give you an example, that you have to have an offset way, a way to offset the cost of marketing. And usually you want to charge a fee. And because you have an online system that has ads where agents are coming to you, a lot of times you're actually able to charge this fee because you now have demonstrated so much value and status and expertise where agents are coming to you, and they will do that, right? So because you already flipped the script, and that's one of the big benefits as well of doing an attraction strategy versus a chasing strategy. So you have a bunch of calls, you can pack a calendar. I recommend you doing the calls yourself. You can later on hire someone like a recruiter to take these calls for you. But then also I recommend, because you're running ads, you have a big email list of agents. You can do retargeting ads. You can do Q&A sessions once a month. You can post content as well to nurture everything, post YouTube videos. More importantly, do a webinar once a month. I recommend around middle of the month to really convert people in. And that's going to make sure you hit up all the leads of your prospective agents and make sure you have like that monopoly and chokehold on your market that you really want. I'm actually gonna give an example of two people here. So first example is one of my clients that had an independent brokerage. So obviously they were in a very competitive market, and I asked them, I'm like, guys, like, well, you guys are up against some of the big hitters out there. So your guys' competition is team leaders as well, but you also got other brokerages, and you also got the agent attractors that trying to recruit their downline. So you have like not even just a few hundred people, you have thousands of people you're competing in. So how do you differentiate yourself? How do you become like a top leader in your market? So I was like, first of all, what you guys want to do, you want to have your marketing market a unique mechanism. I have another video on this as well on YouTube, check it out. But basically they have a unique mechanism, right? They're selling and they're telling the agents like, hey, look, agents, we have a fast track agent accelerator program, which helps you book more appointments, get more leads. That's what they started marketing in the market, right? They started running ads, and then they have an online training. They give value in that training. Agents would put their email in, information in, and then if they like that training, they would go ahead and book a call. At the same time, they were sending emails, text messages. They had appointment setter, like I say, call up all the agents. They would do a webinar once a month. They had retargeting ads, they were posting content, and they had full calendars pretty much every single day. Now on those calendars, the first thing they started doing is they started recruiting a lot of people. But I was like, okay guys, look, like, you guys are spending 3 or 4 or 5K sometimes a month, and they wanted to do more. I'm like, are you guys comfortable losing that kind of money? Because like sometimes these agents don't really produce right away, right? So what's your guys' solution? He's like, yeah, you got to free a point, right? So I was like, why don't you guys start charging onboarding fees? So now because of the onboarding fee, not only were they able to make money on the acquisition of agents, but at the same time, those agents coming in were actually better, more committed, and actually focused. They had skin in the game, right? So again, that's the brokerage level they actually took over. At the downline level, something very, very similar, but they started charging onboarding fee. They sold an online course, a digital product, because they couldn't really promote ads to their downline or their revenue share network because it's actually against their ICA. So that was a workaround. This guy actually made $50,000 a month in profit online from his laptop. He lives in Colombia right now with his wife, and they're just crushing it. And they're recruiting people to their downline and also placing the top producers on their team. I mean, everything works together very, very well in unison. So these are just two examples that I'll give you. I have a lot more examples like that on my YouTube channel as well, so go ahead and take a look at that. So here's the bottom line. A lot of recruiters don't work out there because they're chasing agents and not attracting agents. They're not building those personal connections, and they're really, pushing people away as opposed to bringing them into you. But if you focus on attraction and you really focus on providing value to agents and they coming to you, you can actually go ahead and do things like charge them, right? Before they even come on board, because you have built so much goodwill and trust. And that right now is like by far the best strategy out there, right? And that's why on this channel, we like to give a little bit more contrarian strategies, a little bit more different strategies outside of the box, because what they operate, the strategies that we teach you operate, are operating on the strategies of business that allow you to win, such as outspending your competition. I mean, if you guys are familiar with Dan Kennedy, he's a big business guru, and he talks about the only way to win in business is to outspend competition. And if you can outspend competition just because you get paid in your marketing, think about what you can do to your market. You can literally steal all the other brokerages agents. And that is why, I like to give advice like this. I like to give this free game because I want to make sure I give you so much value in the YouTube channel where, you're like, okay, wow, if this guy's giving me this much value in the YouTube channel, imagine what is in the back end on their program. So that is my goal here, and hopefully served you guys with some value. Now, if you guys want to work with my team and you guys want to structure a system where you can get agents coming to you, whether you're a brokerage or team or even a downline attractor, we have a series of solutions for you. And if you're interested, click somewhere below the video on the description and book a call with our team. Obviously watch our content, see if it's the right fit for you, and we'll obviously see if you're a right fit for our system as well. Not everyone is, because obviously sometimes the rules come into play and our program may not be the right fit for you for the company you're at. So again, we just want to make sure you're a right fit, but get acquainted in our process, our thesis and everything. Watch our case study interviews, and we will see you guys on the other side.